As of filming, there are about 20,000 open front-end developer jobs in the US on Indeed, and 17,500 back-end developer jobs. These numbers are eye-popping and will continue to grow in the future. There is no surprise many people are interested in joining the field of software development. So I've decided to talk about some essentials of development in this video, because let's face it, many people understand the difference between front-end and back-end development. What's full-stack development? Is front-end the same as back-end development? What skills are essential to become a back-end developer or a front-end developer? These are some of the basic questions on the minds of many. Also, young developers don't understand what types of development suits their skill set. As a result, they could end up making a wrong choice for their career path. So I'll highlight some of the major differences between a front-end developer and a back-end developer. We'll also talk about what skills you need to make up a specific type of development. Also, do you know what a full-stack developer is? We'll talk about that too. So let's get started. First, what's front-end development? Front-end development is all about managing what users see on their screens, whether it's a website, application, or browser. Everything you see or interact with is designed by a front-end developer. So a front-end developer is responsible for designing the look and feel of a website or an application. So when you come across a decent mobile or computer application, say thanks to a front-end developer who spent days and nights providing you a high-quality user experience up front. So what's back-end development? Have you come across an application that looks amazing from the outside, but it doesn't work smoothly enough, or maybe data isn't being sent or retrieved properly? I'm sure this has happened to you at least once. It all happens when the back-end code is in rough shape. So what's back-end development after all? Back-end development deals with server-side applications. It deals with the communication between the computational servers and the databases back and forth with the browser. As a backend developer, your job is to write code that moves and computes the proper inputs and outputs with the application front end presented on the web browser. That's it for the definitions. Let's start with the key differences that set these two development streams apart. Let's start with the development languages. Front-end development focus on the core trinity of HTML, JavaScript, and CSS. These languages have a lot to do with formatting, presentation, and the aesthetics of a web page or application. There are many other front-end languages and frameworks like React, AngularJS, and TypeScript. They hold their own sets of advantages. So if you want to become a front-end developer, you must develop good understanding of those first three core languages. Luckily, almost any intro to front-end programming course will hit on those three. For back-end developers, the knowledge of front-end languages is always helpful but not primary skill set. Backend development relies on programming languages that can interact with servers and support database operations. Therefore, JavaScript, Java, .NET, PHP, Python, Perl, and Ruby are some of the essential programming languages used in backend development, with Python and JavaScript, with the focus on Node.js, are probably the most commonly taught to new coders. So what are some essential tools? The development tools are quite versatile because new products keep coming to the market. However, there are some trusted solutions, so developers prefer using them more. Front-end developers learn tools like jQuery, while back-end developers need to learn SQL to interact with databases. Next, let's talk about essential skill set. From the knowledge of the development languages, it's easy to understand the required skill set for each type of development. Front-end developer demands comprehensive knowledge in UI, UX design, HTML, JavaScript, and CSS. On the other hand, back-end development relies on deep knowledge of databases, servers, and APIs. Next, let's talk about job responsibilities. Front-end developers are often limited to the UI, UX design, and functionality of a website or application. They focus more on how the website appears. Is it visually engaging? Can users find all the relevant information on the page? What should be the right font size and location? These are some of the main questions that a front-end developer must answer. On the other hand, back-end developers work behind the scenes to make sure everything runs smoothly. They are responsible for managing content, providing security, support, and also designing efficient algorithms to speed up the operation of a website. Let's briefly touch on essential development practices. By essential practices, I mean set of habits that make you a high-quality developer, whether it's front-end or back-end. It's challenging to stay relevant in the web development field because it's a quickly evolving space. So as a software engineer who wants to become a front-end developer, you must focus on projects that involve CSS preprocessors that are responsible to present a similar view of a website across different browsers. Next, work on cross-browser and multiple device testing. As a front-end developer, you need to get comfortable with testing and optimizing your code for various browsers and display formats. If you wish to become a back-end developer, the challenge is not easier. In fact, it's a continuous grinding cycle where you must keep evolving as a developer, which means you will learn a lot of new tool frameworks quite frequently. Work with the latest server technologies like Apache, IIS, and Nginx. Practice on Linux operating systems, and work with different APIs, SOAP and REST tools to stay up to date in the field of backend development. Next is touch on annual earnings. I'm not a big fan of using earnings as a distinguishing parameter because it's more about skill and expertise, whether you're a front-end or a back-end developer. But still, if you have to know, the average front-end developer salary in the US is around $119,000 per year, while a back-end developer earns $106,000 per year, looking at salary.com. Finally, let's answer that question about what is a full-stack developer. These developers can do both front-end and back-end development for web applications. Understandably, their skill set is much broader than the other developers, and they generally know the website inside and out. If you're ready to further pursue one of these fields, be sure to check out my video on the top skills needed to become a successful developer so that you can be further prepared for a successful career. See you in there.